My name is Oshifes Oluwadamilare. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa.
So now, here we go. There might be some heartbreaks today. We might not be going to the Heartbreak Hotel like Whitney Houston likes going to. But we might love to have some Donny Hathaway in the house because it is raining in Spa, Belgium. So, first, let me tell you the things we're going to bring up before we dive right into it, because it's a sprint weekend. You're going to be having the FP1 and the qualifying. Then tomorrow we jump straight into the sprint qualifying and the sprint race. So we'll be talking about another Mercedes upgrade. The team Alpine brought their upgrade. McLaren brought some beats. Ferrari brought some beats. Everybody just they bring beats. Who is going to rap on these beats now? Then we move to the FP1 and the qualifying. So let's start from Mercedes. This new Mercedes upgrade, it get a CB. Now they've reconfigured their side pod because last week they suffered overheating in Hungary. After the whole shenanigans, Lewis Hamilton asked if the engine was turned on, which I think they did. But, because it was in a racing condition, they could not tell him that the power of the engine was turned down. That was why he was unable to race with the McLaren because of the overheating. Because there was a point that he was so close to Lando Norris. It was like 4 tenths away from Lando Norris. Then he just dropped off about 2 seconds away from him, and later he asked that question, was his engine turned down? And diplomatically they just brushed it off. Then later, towards the end of the race, when the fuel level was down and it was more comfortable and the temperature was a little bit fairer, I think they tuned the engine back up and they were able to race. Now in this upgrade, they brought new side pods that had a larger vent. Sometimes to some cars they need a larger vent, some cars need a steeper vent, like the RB19. The upgrade they brought to Hungary had a steeper vent. The steeper vent means it will be able to suck a lot of air, but it will have a larger opening inside to downwash or to wash down the radiators and take the heat away. But now they are bringing a larger one. It's as huge as the side pod they brought for the W14 podless. Don't let us go to that podless car. It really turned down their chances, but now I think it's turning it up. They are even saying that the second best car, but we are looking at them that Mercedes, you are not the second best car. That McLaren is still more powerful than the Mercedes, as in the aerodynamics, the aero raking, everything is just on point. And on the straight line, the Mercedes is draggy. A draggy car means a slow car on the straight. So, but with this upgrade, the downwash at the back will take away the dragginess of the Mercedes. So on the straight line, we think Mercedes should have an optimum speed on the straight line with this upgrade. And they've really done a lot of jobs. So with this one, the design looks as if it should give them some pretty decent speed on the straight line. And their cornering, their low speed corner is better. Their high speed corner is fair enough. I've always told you, if the side pod is reconfigured, the floor has to be reconfigured. So the floor of this Mercedes has been reconfigured. It looks better for generation of the right vortexes underneath the car and at the back of the car, because that is where they are suffering most, especially at the rear of their car with overheating and with the dragginess, because the rear of the car is not just balance. They lose a lot of balance on turning into corners, and all those things happen to Mercedes. And they have new rear wings, which was tested on Lewis Hamilton's car in the morning. To the Alpine brought new floors, with the last 2 races ending in DNFs for the Alpine. It has been a terrible 4 races for them, in which in the last 2 races the McLaren has jumped them by 58 whooping points. Wow. The McLaren in Silverstone came second and fourth, and in Hungary last week they came second and fifth, jumping the Alpine, in which they were behind the Alpine before. Now they are up the Alpine, and we are thinking very soon they will jump Ferrari itself. They will jump Aston Martin the way they are jumping. But the Mercedes don't want them to keep jumping ahead of them, so they brought new upgrades. McLaren brought new upgrades. They brought the rear end plate, new beam wing plate, and new rear wing plate on their car to make the car more faster. All these plates are at the back and on the side of the car. They are comfortable that the car is now fast on the straight. The car is good on low speed corner and high speed corner, because this car was tested in Austria, Silverstone, and in Hungary. The Hungaro ring track has medium and low speed corner, and the car performed well. So they just need to bring a better upgrade to improve the performance of the car and see if they can still be ahead of Mercedes, in which I believe they are ahead of Mercedes. So the suffering of Alpine is behind us. Other teams brought upgrades though, but their upgrades are not as much as these 3 teams upgrade. They brought some tiny bits. Ferrari, we don't know. Like I've told you, the Ferrari has been a team with so many problems in which they need to solve in-house. And unfortunately, their engineer Laurent Marquis, has left his role as the Ferrari F1 sporting director, and he has departed to take charge as the new team principal in AlphaTauri Red Bull. So that has been coming for a long time, and we believe Ferrari has been trying to just get a lot of data from him to know how they will move on. But a new sporting director has been appointed during the week, and he will take over from Franz Tost from next year. He has a lot to do. This is like the middle of the season, so he needs a lot of learning to do in the background. Now, Max Verstappen will be taking a 5-grid place penalty against the race on Sunday. Now, why? He is leading. Red Bull are leading, so they can even change their whole car now and take 200 place grid penalty. They know they will still win. So he had to change his gearbox, and that warranted him to have a 5-place grid penalty. So wherever he qualifies from, he's going to go 5 places down to start, and we know he's still going to win. There is nothing they will do. He will win. In less than 2 laps, he will be leading the race. That's what has been happening all through the season, because they have the best car, they have the most powerful car, and they are just there. As we all know, he's just so much confident this season, and he's just breaking all the rules, breaking all the grounds, breaking everything breakable. That guy has broken everything breakable in F1 this season, because that car is massive. He's starting 5 grid behind, and he's going to win the race. So that one, we don't need to say predictions. We know who will win. Then all through the FP1, it was raining. Some used the wet tires, some used the inter tires, but they were unable to get a lot of data because it was all raining, and that is the only practice they will be having this weekend. So how will they fare in the qualifying, in the sprint qualifying, in the sprint, and in the main race? It's left for the team, which makes it more technical for them, and we are hoping that there will be rain during the qualifying. We don't know, but the FIA said if there's going to be rain during the qualifying, which means there will be no qualifying, and the FP1 will not determine the grid, so the grid will be determined by the championship. Now let me take you to what I said about Max Verstappen having a 5-place grid penalty, which means he'll be starting 6th tomorrow. So I know some people will be praying that there should be no rain, dry, they can test their car a little, and also see if they can push him like 10 places backward if he qualifies 5th. That will be Mercedes and McLaren thinking that. But the truth of the matter is, if he qualifies 20 and he's taking 12 place grid penalty, he will win. But the FP1, like I said, there was nothing much, so it gives them more advantage to see how their aerodynamics will work when you see the way the water spray behind the car. Let's see what the qualifying will bring, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see if they will be qualifying or not. But we give you that in this video also, so watch out. We thought there would be no qualifying, like I told you, because of the rain. The rain was just pouring down. There was a partly dry session, then the rain started. That was during the F2 qualifying. But as God would have it, he trained for 1.5 part of the qualifying, and then another 1.5 part was partly dry. Well, it was all good. How did it pan out? In the Q1, with the rain, drivers trying to maximize and brush off the tires because the rain came down, became a little bit damp. There was so much water on the track before the water could get out and all this and that. So the best scooter in the world on a track is the Formula 1 car. And I can tell you that Belgian track has been well built to drive fast and to drain water. That track is just a great track. In like 30 minutes, the track was already drying out. But in Q1, we lost Nico Hülkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo was out due to his lap time that was deleted, and he struggled to get good lap timing to get into Q2. Logan Sargent was out, Zhou Guanyu was out, and Alex Albon. It was tough for all of them, and most of the drivers that were out based on their inability to set good times and to put themselves in good position and put their tires in the proper warm-up window. And 7/10 was separating the top 8 drivers. In Q2, we have Ocon out, Bottas out, Kevin Magnussen out, Pierre Gasly out, and Tsunoda out. With Max Verstappen on the brink of going out. He was slightly almost out because he qualified 10th into Q3. It was so funny because he struggled down into it, and there it is. To Q3, he qualified pole. The half part of the Q2, the track was already getting dry. The drivers were able to come out on slicks, and with Valtteri Bottas changing to slick first, because I think they already knew they had nothing to lose if they go out on slick, and Ocon putting his car into the wall and breaking his front wings things. Before he could get rolling another lap, it was already late to put his tires in the right window, and that was how Ocon got out. But to the most thrilling part, the Q3, Verstappen taking pole. It was a tight qualifying because all the drivers put a lot of energy, a lot of work in to get to the top. But remember, it's a wet track that was drying up, so the track keeps improving. It kept on improving. As it kept on improving, they're having better times, and it is just for the driver that can get his tire into the right window and qualify at the right time and in the right space. So Verstappen was able to qualify pole position, Charles Leclerc second, Sergio Perez third, Hamilton fourth, Sainz fifth, Piastri sixth, Norris seventh, George Russell eighth, Fernando Alonso ninth, and Stroll qualifying 10th. But we know Max Verstappen will be starting 6th position because of his 5th-place grid penalty. But in all, we can see that not so well that the grid is really ramping up, but the top 5 teams qualified into Q3. Each of their drivers qualify. That's 2 drivers each. 2 of the Red Bull drivers, 2 of the Ferrari drivers, the 2 Mercedes drivers, the 2 McLaren drivers, and the 2 Aston Martin drivers. We have a Red Bull engine, Ferrari engine, and 3 Mercedes powered engine in the Q3. And those 5 teams will be starting in top 10 on Sunday. So going to sprint qualifying tomorrow and sprint race tomorrow, then the main race on Sunday. Until then, watch out for our new analysis and how it goes down. But predictions are still Max Verstappen go win the race. You know, that guy there in front. So all of them, just go sit down. You know. Up until then, we love you. Yeah, bye. Cheers.
We have a new friend in the house. We are in Nigeria here, West Africa. He provides internet for us. They provide the best internet around the mainland, and I know they are still moving to the highland and they are moving all around Nigeria. But for you to get internet on the mainland, contact Firebrad Telecom Limited. They get you sorted out ASAP. The best cable internet on the mainland, fiber, I think they get sorted out. We talk much about them in the course of some of our videos, but contact them, they get sorted out. We love you. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. To contact Rated Art, his number is right up here, and you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here to check out some of his works. Thank you.